In the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, the air is thick with the persistent hum of cicadas, a background buzz weaving through the stories that echo in the minds of both victors and vanquished. It's a sound that carries the weight of history, resounding with the cries of agony and the whispers of dreams long extinguished. Here in Vietnam, a land of stunning landscapes and soulful resilience, an epic struggle unfolded, drawing in a superpower with the allure of freedom and ambition, only to find itself ensnared in an inescapable web of conflict. Shifting shadows dance on the ground as the sun sets, creating an atmosphere heavy with apprehension. This place, once filled with hope and vibrant culture, would soon become synonymous with the deepest regrets of a generation, a testament to the folly of human ambition. We begin our tale not with the roar of helicopters or the gunfire of warfare, but in the silence of contemplation shared by those returning from the front lines. It was supposed to be a quick affair, remembers a veteran, eyes reflecting a haunting blend of pride and sorrow, a soldier who believed he was fighting for democracy. We were told we could usher in a brighter future, yet what we found was despair. His words linger, each syllable a reminder of high ideals crashing into harsh realities. The once loud proclamations morph into echoes of introspection, leaving behind questions that continue to reverberate through time. What went wrong? How did the world's most formidable military falter against what seemed a weaker foe? As we delve deeper into the tapestry of this conflict, the backdrop becomes clearer, a world marked by the tense Cold War, where allegiances transformed and an ideological battle raged, stretching from the narrowed alleys in Hanoi to the expansive plains of America. The withdrawal of colonial powers, against the mournful backdrop of manipulation and power struggles, set the stage for an explosion of aspirations. Here in Vietnam, the spirit of independence smoldered like a freshly struck match, an insurrection against foreign regimes, driven by a charismatic leader, Ho Chi Minh, who emerged not merely as a revolutionary, but as a symbol of unimaginable determination. The jungles, lush and wild, stand as the silent witnesses to this tumult, a reflection of a nation grappling with its identity and destiny. As we move through these shadows, we notice the struggles of an embattled people, yet buried beneath the immediate fight against colonial rule lies a complex web of ideologies deep-rooted in centuries of conflict. How could a proud culture, infused with traditions and perseverance, find itself the battleground between ideologies as powerful as communism and capitalism? The question pulses through the air, challenging our understanding of freedom, autonomy, and the very essence of national identity. In the quiet moments away from the cacophony of war, one can almost hear the heartbeat of a nation. Children play in the streets as mothers weave through marketplaces, the scent of spices hanging thick in the evening air. Laughter mingles with the sounds of everyday life, a testament to human resilience. Yet beneath the surface lies an unspoken tension, a gravitational pull towards a future shaped not solely by their own hands, but by the heavy hand of foreign influence. Here, the simplest acts, brewing coffee, tending rice paddies, carry a profound significance. Each gesture becomes a stand against an encroaching inevitability, where the lives of so many would soon be cast into chaos, sacrificed upon the altar of geopolitical ambitions. And further west lies America, reeling from its own tumultuous history and eager for a reinvention of its image, thrust into a dilemma where foreign engagement is painted in broad strokes of righteousness. The call to arms, driven by the fear of communism's spread, resonated with a nation still grappling with its own civil rights struggles. How could moral ambition coalesce with destruction? We ponder the irony that, while they sought to offer salvation from oppression, they would instead entangle themselves in a long, bloody battle, effectively shattering the dreams of countless innocents. The question beckons, what choices emerge when fear eclipses understanding, prompting a superpower to venture forth with naive confidence into the heart of a conflict it scarcely comprehended? As the 1960s unfurl, a tempest brews. The cold winds of change sweep through the political landscape, emboldening voices demanding solidarity and swift action. Here, a palpable anticipation fills the air, a mixture of hope and trepidation that envelops both nations, teetering on the brink of calamity. The conversation shifts now, echoing through smoky rooms as leaders strategize over maps strewn with pins and markers. Each decision made reflects the deep fissures in human nature, an undeniable ambition to triumph even in the face of inevitable loss. The lines between righteousness and error blur, leaving in their wake the haunting question of whether victory was ever truly possible. And overhead the skies darken ominously. We sense a coming storm not of nature but of humanity's unyielding quest for validation. The deafening silence before the storm carries with it a foreboding reminder, a history too often repeated, where pride blinds the eye and ambition stifles the moral heart. What began as a crusade for honor would spiral into a conflict suffused with irony. The air crackles with anticipation, unraveling a tale that binds soldiers and civilians alike in a tapestry woven from dreams, suffering, and a crescendo of unintended consequences. As we chart the trajectory toward the unfolding conflict, we feel a magnetic pull toward the heart of Vietnam, a land wrestling with the complexities of identity and autonomy. The children who laughed amidst the chaos are now wrapped in the arms of conflict, the laughter of yesterdays replaced by the somber song of survival. What does this intersection of dreams and despair tell us not just about Vietnam, but about ourselves, about the universal quest for meaning amidst tumultuous tides? We are poised to immerse ourselves deeper, inching toward the very moment when ambition collides with the stark realities of warfare. In this fragile landscape teetering on the edge of resolution, one cannot help but reflect on the nature of conquest itself. As the specter of war looms closer, charged with grief and expectation, the stage is set for an examination of human vulnerability, the heartbeat of history. It begs us to consider, when does the aspiration to protect morph into a quagmire of despair, and who bears the weight of such shattering decisions? As the first notes of conflict intertwine with the dreams of a nation, so too begins a journey that will leave scars etched in the very fabric of humanity's intertwining histories. As we navigate this intricate landscape, we move closer to understanding the fragility of ideals weighed down by the consequences of their very pursuit. The atmosphere thickens with anticipation, an invitation to examine the human condition intertwined with political ambition, a consciousness on the brink of awakening to the true costs of what lay ahead. And so we take a step forward, drifting like smoke through history, bound for a reckoning that will resonate through the ages. In the whispering winds of that uncertain moment, we catch a fleeting glimpse of the profound depth of human experience, a prelude to a tale yet untold. The dense jungles of Vietnam stand not only as an intimidating natural barrier, but as a witness to the profound shifts in the nation's fabric. As dawn breaks, the mist clings to the ground like a whisper of the past, shrouding the land that has seen centuries of struggle and ambition. Here, the air carries the bittersweet aroma of resilience molded through centuries of conflict, a mosaic of culture crafted amidst the echoes of foreign dominion. The quiet rustle of leaves in the soft wind serves as a reminder that beneath every leaf, beneath every rock, lies a story yearning to be told. The bittersweet history of Vietnam has roots that entwine with that of foreign invasions, resolute determination, and a fire fueled by the fight for independence. It is crucial to understand the relentless grip of French colonialism, which began in the mid-19th century, and the gradual transformation it imposed upon Vietnamese society. This seismic shift did not merely change political allegiances, but penetrated deeply into the core of the culture, altering customs, languages, and familial structures in ways that would lay the groundwork for the fierce nationalism that would later emerge. As we navigate this complex terrain, we bear witness to the multifaceted identity of Vietnam, a symphony of traditions, woven together by the hardships endured and the dreams of freedom cherished. Imagine a vibrant marketplace bustling with life. Vendors call out, the sound of their voices blending seamlessly with the laughter of children playing nearby. Striking colors sway in the breeze as rice baskets, woven from the very strands of their land, showcase their bountiful harvest. In these mundane exchanges, we witness a spirit that refuses to be dimmed, a culture robust despite the scars that colonial rulers have inflicted upon it. Yet behind this facade of normalcy lies a simmering anger, a longing for autonomy, concealed beneath the daily drumbeat of survival. It is in the context of this rich cultural tapestry that Ho Chi Minh enters the scene, an iconic figure whose fervor ignited the revolutionary spirit amongst the masses. With the fervor of a poet and the complexities of a statesman, he emerged from the shadows, seeking to unify a nation fragmented by foreign influence and internal strife. The struggle for independence, however, transcended mere politics. It was deeply rooted in a cultural renaissance that sparked a hunger for self-determination, a fire evident in poetry, art, and philosophy. Ho Chi Minh, once a mere son of the soil, metamorphosed into a symbol of everything Vietnam yearned to reclaim, intertwining the very essence of freedom with the relentless pursuit of identity. As the narrative unfolds, we turn our gaze towards the global landscape. The emergent Cold War casts a long shadow, where the dichotomy of communism and capitalism ignites fierce allegiances across continents. The stakes are climbing exponentially. The very existence of nations is perceived to hang precariously in the balance. America, with its ideals of democracy and freedom, finds itself increasingly enthralled by the notion of a domino effect, that should Vietnam succumb to communism, others in Southeast Asia could inevitably follow. This fear injects urgency into a situation already fraught with tension, urging foreign powers to intertwine their destinies with a struggle that was not wholly theirs. Echoes of fear pulsate through American corridors of power, where strategy meetings swirl around maps dotted with red and blue, colors signifying positions in this ideological battleground. The ambition to assert their presence unravels into a tangled web of decisions. Vietnam re-emerges as an arena where the ideological contest shapes the rules of engagement. But amidst this quest for containment lies a chilling undercurrent, As the pursuit of control distances policymakers from the lives they seek to influence, propaganda blares from radio speakers, premature narratives of a righteous mission echoed from pulpits, while ordinary lives remain suspended in uncertainty. Outside the confines of these walls, rice paddies extend into the horizon, kissed by the sun, whispering tales of countless farmers toiling under the oppressive weight of foreign interest. Families anchor their entire existence to these fertile lands, where time seems to stand still, yet a storm brews on the horizon, a cloud looming ever larger, casting shadows upon their humble livelihoods. The struggle between patriotism and survival takes hold, the landscape morphing into a real battleground even before the bullets begin to fly. When do the aspirations of one group begin to threaten the dreams of another, and how can the shorelines of hope become engulfed by the tides of destruction? As we delve deeper into this intricate narrative, we find the heartbeat of ordinary people struggling against the backdrop of political aspirations. Within villages nestled against the base of the mountains, we see women exchanging smiles with cautious hope, while men gather to share news of the shifting political winds. Yet in each conversation lingers an understanding. They are not mere pawns in a game played by leaders in distant capitals, but individuals with hopes woven from the very fabric of their history. The delicate balance between the cultural heritage they cherish and the ominous changes encroaching upon their daily life is felt at every turn. The streets of Hanoi echo with the sound of bombers overhead, punctuating the tension that thickens the air. People move swiftly beneath the shadow of the jets, business continues, life demands movement, reminders that amidst chaos, resilience finds a way to flourish. Each decision to continue to stand firm in their identity speaks volumes of their tenacity. Yet then arises an unforeseen chasm, where the values of honor collide with the reality of devastating warfare. The moment of escalation emerges, a tipping point that reverberates through the soul of Vietnam. One cannot help but ponder amid this maelstrom, how can honor transform into devastation, and what becomes of a people when their fight for autonomy is rendered indistinguishable from the shattering of their lives? Such complexities reflect the infinite capacity of human nature, where ambition feeds into misjudgment, forcing hands into actions and decisions that would leave indelible marks on the pages of history. The seemingly straightforward notion of liberating a people becomes replaced with haunting echoes of sorrow and loss, weaving a depth into the fabric of not just one nation, but of an entire generation irrevocably altered by war. The lines that separate heroism from folly become blurred, spiraling into the haunting question of whether the battle for freedom is worth the price of humanity lost. As we inch closer to pivotal moments, where the currents of power swirl and calamity looms, we begin to grasp the fortress mentality that pervades decision-makers' minds. Here we pause for reflection. Beneath every political choice lies a spectrum of human emotion, fear, pride, ambition, all entangled with the realization of what is at stake. As the sirens wail across the landscapes of both Vietnam and America, they do not merely signal a war being waged, they're a blunt reminder of the sacrifices embedded in the narratives unfolding across borders. From the lush green hillsides of Vietnam to crowded boardrooms in Washington, we find our hearts beating in time, a shared rhythm of humanity where the stakes of overreaching control reverberate into the depths of our soul. In this intricate interplay lies a haunting awareness of inevitability, the understanding that every choice leads us toward a more profound reckoning, one that has the power to reshape destinies. As we continue to navigate this narrative, we stand poised on the precipice of transformation, a moment in history etched forever into the consciousness of those who lived through its turbulence. In witnessing the raw complexity of this unfolding narrative, we unearth an uncomfortable truth, a truth that reflects our own nature and our place within history's cyclical dance. The world is changing, the faces of struggle morphing yet again. Behind every statistic and military assessment lie true stories of lives intermingled in the quest for agency. How does the journey toward a just cause unravel, and what becomes of the legacies born of these pursuits? As the sun drapes its golden rays over fields kissed by the promise of tomorrow, we move toward the storm breaching the horizon, a battle between idealism and reality that will soon engulf both nations. The waves of change will come crashing, and within them the true cost of human ambition will be revealed, forever altering the landscape of history written in blood, tears, and resilience. We step forward, knowing that we wander into complexities yet to unfurl, as the tide of history beckons us closer to a confrontation that demands introspection, empathy, and action. Amid the looming specter of war, the very fabric of everyday life in Vietnam begins to weave together the mundane and the extraordinary in a delicate dance, both breathtaking and tragic. In the morning light, families gather around tables laden with rice and steaming bowls of pho, the aromatic fragrance flooding their homes as the day begins. Here, beneath thatched roofs adorned with vibrant tapestries, love is cradled in the simplest of rituals. It is in these moments that traditions are passed down, whispers of ancestors reverberating in the hearts of children while they laugh and play, oblivious to the gravity that hangs over their land like a darkened cloud. Yet beneath the surface of these familial gatherings, the tremors of discontent simmer quietly in the undercurrents of everyday life. Each meal shared between loved ones serves as a reminder of the hardships endured. Each smile exchanged takes on the weight of unwavering hope, the kind that bends but does not break. Riders on bicycles weave through the streets, weaving together a community in motion, unaware of the unraveling threads that threaten to tear their world apart. Behind the storefronts of bustling markets, vendors clutch their dreams tightly, their aspirations buried under the constant threat of external conflict. The rhythm of barter and the language of smiles create an atmospheric pulse, an unspoken acknowledgement of their plight and ingenuity. In this world, the sound of children, gleeful and carefree, breaks against the distant echoes of artillery fire. It is a poignant contrast, one that encapsulates the duality of life in the heart of a nation at war. Schools bustle with the energy of young minds, longing for knowledge and buoyed by stories of freedom. Their eyes illuminate the vivid dreams for tomorrow amidst the encroaching shadows of uncertainty. Teachers passionately navigate the delicate balance between instilling hope and acknowledging the omnipresent reality outside their classroom walls. It is within these safe havens that resilience blossoms, twisted with the harsh realization that the future remains intertwined with the tumult of the present. The landscape itself bears evidence of the struggle, a tapestry of lush green fields and historic architecture standing proudly against the backdrop of conflict. Traditional wooden homes with sloping roofs protrude from fertile expanses of rice, a powerful witness to the generations that have sought sustenance from these lands. Temples bearing intricate carvings serve as sanctuaries where prayers spiral into the air, uttered in hopes of divine intervention for protection and peace. Here, faith intertwines with daily life. A vibrant tapestry of Buddhism, Confucianism, and folk traditions converge, their rituals alive against the chaotic currents swirling beyond. As we tread deeper into the heart of Vietnam, we uncover the hidden structures of society that shape interactions and experiences. Here, family units serve as both shields and sources of strength. A father, worn by the toil of long hours in the fields, quietly conveys lessons of courage and perseverance to his children. Mothers, the backbone of their households, tirelessly work to cultivate not just crops but dreams, nurturing bonds that tether their lives to the land. These emotions, powerful yet fragile, construct an intricate network of support that, when strained, reveals the cracks and fractures beneath, fractures exacerbated further with each news of impending threat. Daily life unfolds against this backdrop of unfolding turmoil, with villagers who take pride in their crafts, woven goods and ceramics painted with meticulous detail. Every creation holds a story, an essence of shared history that is slowly being eclipsed by alarm bells ringing from afar. Nights are filled with laughter and music, where local musicians carry their culture through songs that weave tales of resilience, love, and sometimes sorrow. Their melodies ripple through the air, acting as a balm for souls pulled taut by the fear of uncertainty. As tradition binds them, so do the aspirations for peace, a yearning for the sweet tranquility before the storm to sweep through their lives once more. As planes roar overhead, they become a constant reminder of danger, punctuating the rhythms of life with each thunderous pass. The laughter of children falls silent as heads turn towards the sky, where planes, symbols of looming conflict, carve an imprint upon the blue. It is a stark reminder of the intricacies of fear. A family's joyful moment is intersected with worry, what tomorrow holds and whether that laughter will echo once more. But when the engines fade into the distance, life resumes. Farmers press their hands into the earth as if drawing strength from its depths, though their eyes betray the storm that brews within. The juxtaposition of tradition and impending conflict carves a profound emotional landscape, where the determination to foster a sense of normalcy wrestles against despair. Here, the marketplaces embody a microcosm of hope, a lively exchange filled with chatter, bargaining, and the smell of fresh herbs mingling with sweet fruits, colors bombarding the senses as they fight for attention amidst muted cries for peace. Yet underneath the conversations, layers of unspoken tension reveal themselves, with patrons haggling fiercely, only for survival on the margins of an uncertain future that hangs tantalizingly within reach, yet far removed from the realities of warfare. The shared humanity expressed across these daily experiences serves as a salve for the darker realities on the horizon. As families gather to witness traditions unfold, ceremonies and celebrations tied to both agriculture and spirituality. Festivities are laden with the richness of shared existence, and moments all too precious create ripples of connection, a reminder that even as the world darkens, their spirit refuses to be extinguished. During these times, the convergence of music, dance, and laughter momentarily shields them from the weight of the world, creating a sanctuary amid the chaos, a fleeting reminder that their resilience is deeply rooted. As the narrative unfolds before us, we cannot ignore the larger forces that cast long shadows over these lives, quietly shaping their fates amidst laughter and love. In the face of escalating violence, daily gear shifts gently reveal the fissures in this society, the innate human desire for freedom and belonging colliding with the heavy weight carried by those entering their homes, weary from a day spent toiling in fields that tell stories of struggle and sacrifice. An unspoken realization emerges. Dreams of independence become entwined with survival, giving rise to a poignant tension that seeps into the very core of familial existence. It is here that the emotional heartbeat of Vietnam reveals itself, one profoundly human, echoing amidst the chaos, speaking to the struggle that lies dormant within what appears to be the ordinary. And as we press onwards, we remain keenly aware that these threads of life are intricately interwoven with historical currents that surge and subside with each heartbeat, as societal routines paint the vivid picture of life as it is lived, infused with hope, resilience, and an understanding that the landscape they call home harbors the whispers of destiny locked in a fierce struggle, one that beckons towards an inevitable confrontation. Amidst this rich tapestry, we begin to touch on the heartbreaking truth that as the tides of history continue to swell and break upon the shores of human lives, the very essence of ordinary existence is drawn into the depths of turmoil. The drive to forge connections, to sustain love, becomes infused with a quiet resilience that embodies the collective spirit of a people. And within these moments of normalcy, we glimpse the profound truth of humanity itself, a force that wields both fragility and indomitable strength, preparing for changes that will ripple endlessly through their destinies. A journey into the unknown awaits, fraught with both peril and possibility. As we linger in the depths of this evocative narrative, we can feel the impending fracturing of this delicate semblance of peace. The spirit of Vietnam, sturdy yet vulnerable, stands poised on the brink, where aspirations and harsh realities are bound to collide. This world, alive, rich in stories, prepares to unveil the churning currents of historical winds, and as they gather strength we await, bracing ourselves for the tumult that draws near. The lives interwoven in this fabric will soon be tested, as the face of their society knows that inevitable changes loom, ushering in a storm that will forever alter the landscape of existence they call home. As the gentle veil of evening descends upon Vietnam, the soothing cadence of life persists in the shadows, yet the whispers of disquiet grow more insistent. News travels swiftly, a disheartening echo through the narrow streets and busy marketplaces. Voices murmur about the encroaching threat, a distant storm promising to alter their destinies. The specter of war casts a long and imposing shadow as failure reverberates within the hearts of those who seek peace amidst the chaos. Amidst the air thick with humidity, uncertainty festers, drawing closer to every home, every family, each ordinary life. The political stage is being set, a troubled mosaic of ambition and fear woven through the fabric of power dynamics. With the world entrenched in a fierce ideological battle, the lines separating democracy from communism blur and deepen. The imagery of two disparate yet persistent forces takes root, one yearning for liberation and the other for control, each nation fixating its gaze on Vietnam, poised at the epicenter of a geopolitical struggle. As the years unfold, the leaders emerge from the shadows, their ambitions cutting through the darkness. Prominent figures like Lyndon B. Johnson and Richard Nixon, with visions of global supremacy, find themselves locked in a chilling embrace with powerful communist actors, namely Ho Chi Minh and his determination to unify a deeply cherished homeland. Each move becomes a reflexive answer to the challenges of the time, each decision painted with the weight of what can only be labeled as tragic miscalculation. The calm nature of life starts to erode as the logic of escalation takes hold. With each passing day, a heavy pall settles across the villages, eroding the once vibrant spirit of community. In this atmosphere of ferment, young men receive letters that herald a new reality, draft notices that pull them from the safety of familiar streets, each slip of paper a harbinger of uncertainty and fear. Families grapple with the painful choice as pride wars with anguish. This call to serve in a foreign land carries with it an ineffable weight, an awareness of the mantle they are expected to bear. Yet it is not merely the young who feel the tremors of change. Mothers anxiously clutch their children, their fingers intertwined tremblingly against the backdrop of rising tensions, while fully aware that these children, once enlivened with dreams of adventure, now risk becoming embroiled in a harrowing conflict where the cost may ultimately eclipse their hopes of freedom. Meanwhile, under the cover of night, amidst the hushed whispers of sleepless villages, the North Vietnamese army begins to tighten its grip, solidifying a strategy that becomes a starting point for the escalating violence. The ground that once bore witness to unity in hardship now prepares for a broader confrontation marked by guerrilla tactics and a fierce resilience that would confound even the mightiest military force. The Tet Offensive emerges, an intricate tapestry of planned assaults, systematically unraveling any misconception of stability and challenging the very narrative upon which American intervention rested. This is no longer a war fought solely on foreign soil. It reverberates through American homes, where evening news broadcasts begin to feature scenes of chaos that haunt the collective consciousness, images that wrestle with the ideals of liberty even as the implications grow darker. In the corridors of power, conflict brews unassumingly. Amidst deliberations and strategy sessions, political leaders wrestle with the question of justification, an endless churn of rationale and spin that seeks to reassure a restless populace spurred into action. Yet, as the situation spirals further out of control, the cries of dissent rise from the streets of America, igniting a fierce moral struggle. Students tearfully protest, women march with banners held high, and veterans return with haunted gazes, each echoing the unasked questions: were they fighting for liberation, or were they thrusting their nation into a grave moral abyss? The rift fractures more deeply, leaving citizens questioning what it means to serve a country that seems increasingly complicit in decades of devastation. As the Tet Offensive unfolds, capturing attention both on the battlefield and in living rooms around the nation, the ripple effects begin to resonate throughout history, altering the narrative itself. The disillusionment sparked by the disconnect between government assurances and the realities witnessed on screen forms an uncanny bond, a powerful shift noted by historians as the turning point in the American consciousness. Protest songs, artistic expressions, literature, and films flourish as voices rise in a cacophony against the machinations of war, revealing an undercurrent of vulnerability that exposes the fragility of the American ideal. For many in Vietnam, the outlines of horror blur with the haze of survival. Shortly after the storm of national disharmony within the United States, they understand that the consequences of an unrelenting foreign engagement manifest not just as military action, but as lives irrevocably altered, an entire generation steeped in loss, chaos, and heartache. Streets once abuzz with joyous interaction evolve into hauntingly desolate avenues. Families bury their grief among the rubble left in the wake of bombings, while each life lost serves as a reminder of the price of ambition unchecked, a heavy toll that reverberates backward through time, burdensome and unrelenting. The aftermath reveals the scars inflicted by these consequences as the war reaches its blazing apex. The ravaged landscape tells a story of loss. Uprooted lives lie scattered across a tapestry of loneliness and devastation. The collapse of Saigon marks the conclusion of this grueling struggle, chaos erupting once more as the city falls to the North Vietnamese forces, the very symbolism of an ambition betrayed. Those who once sought to shine a light of democracy on Vietnam's horizon are met with the realization that the reality painted by political aspirations remains starkly removed from the horrors that unfolded on the ground. As refugees crowd along the coast, the haunting images of desperation play out like an endless reel, incrementally revealing the long-term implications of power mismanaged, a hollow echo of what had been espoused as noble intervention. Now reflecting upon the years of conflict, tensions continue to brew beneath the surface as the repercussions of war persist, PTSD echoing steadily among returning veterans, while every waking moment serves as a painful reminder of fractured reality. The social fabric lies frayed as America stands at a threshold of reflection. How do we reconcile our need for power with an ethical commitment to the lives entwined in the destinies of others? The psychological toll paints the landscape with additional hues of sorrow. The ghosts of ambition stand reversed, forcing every citizen to witness the effects of their past decision-making, shaping a generation steeped in questions of morality and governance. In the stillness that follows, as life tentatively seeks a semblance of normalcy, the undercurrents of change continue to rise, reminding all that the struggle endured serves as both lesson and warning. The transformative shifts birthed through the Vietnam War encapsulate a broader truth, the recognition that the realm of power play lies interwoven with the essence of humanity, forever shaping the contours of individual lives. As the narrative flows through these heavy truths, we sense an irrevocable shift gathering strength, a current swelling under the surface, pitted against the very ideals that once inspired enthusiasm. The repercussions of the war unfurl endlessly, sending ripples through societies across the globe, profoundly reminding us of the delicate balance we strive to maintain between ambition and the burdens of our actions. Through the aftermath of trauma, we learn to gaze upon the delicate threads that weave existence anew. A deeper understanding pervades the fabric of human experience, urging introspection on what we deem worthy of pursuit and the costs that accompany the fervent quest for power. And with that they ask themselves, what legacy will we build upon the ashes of conflict? Who are we if not custodians of history, charged with gleaning wisdom from the labyrinth of our collective past? The path forward winds a course yet unchained, where the thresholds between power, human desire, and moral obligation blur beneath the scrutiny of those who have witnessed sacrifices beyond measure. the fragility of existence forever captured within the expanse of a shared experience. As the stories unfold, with voices rising to echo the wisdom of old while tempering future pursuits, the question lingers: will the lessons learned from Vietnam chart a new course for generations yet to come? The answer lies deep within the reflections of those who bear witness, and within the hearts of those who choose to remember. Only time will tell. As the narrative unfolds, we remain starkly aware of the interwoven fates of humanity, nestled uneasily between the shimmering shores of hope and the churning waves of history moving inevitably forward. As the dust settles in the wake of the chaotic fall of Saigon, those who lived through the ensuing night of despair find themselves entrenched in a myriad of emotions, reflecting upon the profound loss brought on by their leaders' imperatives and the narratives of war. The jagged landscape, now a tableau of devastation and hope crushed underfoot, pleads for revitalization, for resurrection, even as its denizens grapple with newfound realities. Families, once pulsating with the vibrancy of connection, lay scattered among the ruins, fragments of their pasts echoing against the backdrop of a history that will forever stain their lives. Every branch, every leaf of a once thriving community now bears the imprint of trauma, a heaviness permeating the air, enveloping the nation in a collective sorrow, the psychological abyss deeper than any trench dug by soldiers. The palpable grief of Vietnam, intertwined with the specter of ambition, beckons questions that travel deeper. How does one rise above the shattering impact of conflict, and how do we transform loss into learning? There, amidst the silence, one senses the ghostly whisper of past decisions, urging the wounds to heal, shaping aspirations anew. By the time American troops silently veered away from the tattered remnants of Saigon, the poignant realization seeps in. Ideals left untouched by the bespectacled chaos of warfare had transformed into echoes of hollow victories. The dream of an undaunted march towards democracy crumbled in the ashes of misguided hopes, a hushed testament to ambition that birthed suffering. Yet as disillusionment settled over a once optimistic populace, the acts of protest blossomed in unexpected ways. An outpouring of grief interspersed with sparks of resilience gripped the very heart of Vietnamese society. Into this landscape of agony, the stories arise, ordinary people finding ways to adapt amidst harsh realities, echoing through alleyways and fields once ripe with life. Artists wield their brushes with fervent strokes, capturing the heartbreak and courage vying for dominance within the soul of Vietnam. Poets weave words that soar like birds unable to settle in unfamiliar skies, crafting verses that breathe life into memories of a lost paradise, even as they wrangle with the ache of being inextricably tethered to their homeland's recent history. Yet survival knows no bounds, and through metaphorical cracks in the pavement, the emergence of a new identity begins to take shape. The resilient spirit of the Vietnamese people, honed through centuries of hardship, shines brighter in the face of adversity. Their collective consciousness became an intricate tapestry woven from threads of loss, survival, painstaking hope, and the capacity to redefine the lived experience amid broken dreams. In this imbuement of new purpose, identity became an act of defiance, a culture bending but not breaking, each individual serving as a vessel for memory, for the lessons etched into their histories. Across the ocean in the United States, the fallout reverberated in a manner both haunting and enlightening. The return of soldiers, met with muted applause and a cacophony of unresolved emotions, illuminated the duality of suffering shared by both sides of the war. The sights of heroism blurred within the merciless lens of horror, invisible scars ran deep, transforming every soldier into walking reminders of an ideology gone awry. As Vietnam veterans tread cautiously on domestic soil, seeking to establish their rightful place in a country that now struggles with the very essence of its spirit, they face persistent skepticism, rebounding between acceptance and rejection. The echoes of their experiences haunt their minds, ushering forth memories that meld seamlessly with the traumas of a war they fought valiantly yet questioned bitterly. National and collective identity, woven through the narratives of both Vietnamese and Americans, comes to hinge on profound realizations involving power, purpose, and the raw fabric of humanity. The echo of dissent ripples through American society as well. It pulses beneath the surface, awakening a newfound awareness in the hearts of its citizens regarding the complexity of the collective journey. Protests surge forth with vigor and commitment, a powerful flux that compels generations to question the moral compass guiding their country, a commitment that ultimately leads to an introspective engagement with the ideals behind the conflict. In this profound examination of purpose and consequence, the Vietnam War transforms from mere historical occurrence into a narrative woven with emotional threads that connect deeply to the fabric of human experience. As names of fallen heroes grace the walls of memorials erected in memory of sacrifice, each inscription serves as a reminder, a pivotal point through which reflected humanity teaches fleeting lessons about the cost of ambition. Each moment calls upon the mantle of remembrance, echoing whispers of resolve emanating from those who walked the lonely road of survival, each heartbeat a testament to lessons learned amidst suffering. In parallel, the political landscape emerges as weary institutions, once unfaltering bastions of control, begin to bear the weight of their fractures. Political leaders grapple with the haunting legacies of their choices, drawing toward a turning point marked by desperation and recalibration. Ideologies that once polarized the globe now undergo a slow deflation, drawn toward reflective consideration of how ambition collides with a fundamental understanding of the human experience. Over the years that loom following the war's conclusion, the discourse continued to progress, treacherous in its attempts to reconcile the chasm created by the conflict. Veterans find purpose and a communal desire to share their stories, setting the stage for dialogue steeped in honesty while grappling with the ghosts of their past. Aching hearts, robust in their endurance, transform bitter pains into memories nestled within the communal fabric, shaping cultural dialogues that flourish beyond borders. As time drifts forth, the ripple effects continue to extend wider, echoing into the collective consciousness of nations. New generations begin to grapple with the dark histories of their ancestors, navigating through landscapes marked with the scars of conflicts fought in the name of progress. They seek understanding, not for justification, but for illumination, a profound lesson in humility that transforms what once seemed like a distant battlefield into a personal engagement with history. With each passing day in this post-war era, Vietnam's landscapes whisper the legacies forged beneath the shadows of weary ideals. The bustling streets now gently thrumming with the cadence of progress redefine what it means to move forward, embracing the fragility of life against the backdrop of resilience. Lives intertwined are forever altered. The remnants of ambition tread forward delicately, each step a reminder of lessons entangled within collective memory. Legacy fraught with emotional potency begins to unfurl within the societal narrative, providing a glimpse forward toward a future still marred by previous choices while glimmering with the possibilities of renewal. The narratives of those who lived it coexist as memoirs of both skepticism and resolve, forging bridges across previously insurmountable divides with every shared heart laid bare, a balm against the edges of loss. As these poignant reflections unfurl in the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the specter of history looms ever closer. The questions remain pressing. How do we reshape our destinies in the wake of fracture? How do we cultivate a world where ambition does not override compassion, and where unity prevails in the face of hardship? Each echo of the past, the soft thrumming heartbeat of humanity, reminds us that while the scars may fade, the lessons endure, waiting to inform paths yet unwritten and journeys yet begun. Through the lens of time, the Vietnam War emerges not just as a singular event, but as a significant chapter in the collective narrative of human ambition and fallibility, urging every onlooker to peer into the depths of past choices, tracing the contours that led to defining moments. There lie the keys to understanding a present laden with complexities and futures yet woven. The story unfolds. With each teller emerges a new narrative, glittering with lessons poised to shape tomorrow's paths, lessons that sit in quiet resignation, waiting to be heeded, lest history repeat itself in a waltz of tragedy miswritten. As the days drift into months and months into years, the vestiges of the Vietnam War linger quietly in the air, mingling with the sense of nostalgia and loss that still permeate the streets of both nations. From the bustling markets of Ho Chi Minh City, where fragrant herbs and spices blend with the laughter of children, to the solemn memorials dotting the American landscape, these echoes remain, capturing fragments of the past that refuse to be fully erased. It is within the silent spaces, those pauses between breaths, that we begin to glean the true significance of legacy, a rich tapestry woven from shared memories that transcend borders and time. Amidst the pristine ruins still standing in Vietnam, there exists a poignant reminder of a culture resilient in the face of transformation. The landscape, ravaged by war, has re-emerged as a living testament to survival and reinvention. Vine-covered structures, remnants of colonial ambition, whisper stories to passers-by, stories of ambition turned futile, dreams that burned brightly yet were extinguished prematurely. Visitors can walk through the remnants of what was once a battlefield, now lush with greenery, where nature has quietly reclaimed its hold. Here flowers bloom defiantly, growing from the cracks formed in a harrowed past, their vibrancy contrasting sharply with the somber history beneath the soil. Over time, the physical trauma of war has been softened by the gentle touch of nature's grace, allowing the memories of loss to rest side by side with the possibility of healing. In the quiet moments when the sun sets, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson, one can almost hear the whispers of those who lived through these tumultuous times, their voices merging with the rustling leaves and distant laughter. Each story carries forward the weight of history, passed down through generations as an inheritance, a lovingly accepted burden. For the Vietnamese, these tales are not merely born out of recollection, they represent a newfound narrative, a metamorphosis that has transformed trauma into purpose. Festivals carry the spirit of connection, where old traditions intertwine with modern celebrations, bridging the divide between past and present. Similarly, across the Pacific, in the shadow of the Vietnam War's wake, the United States grapples with its own realities, a nation forever altered by its military endeavors, becoming acutely aware of the need for introspection. The scars borne by returning soldiers today fuse with the broader societal shifts, giving rise to an understanding that is both complex and profound. Each veteran, with a story etched into their being, carries forth a poignant reminder of sacrifice and disillusionment, yet they also embody an unparalleled resilience that beckons us to listen closely. The establishment of support networks, memorial groups, and advocacy organizations illustrates the legacy that has surfaced from pain, prompting a cultural re-examination of the purpose of military action, of authority, and of personal accountability. With each passing year, reflections on the Vietnam conflict continue to shape the American narrative, embedding themselves into the psyche of a populace yearning for authenticity and understanding. As citizens navigate the waters of a world fraught with conflict, the lessons of Vietnam emerge as a guiding light, underscoring the importance of discerning motives and questioning the narratives that seek to define them. They serve as a cautionary tale, urging a significant societal question: how do we redefine our relationship with power, not as conquerors but as stewards of humanity? Art, in its multitude of forms, serves as a vessel for these reflections. Literature emerges that chronicles the feelings of loss, of longing for a home that was never fully realized, works that dare to pose questions without easy answers. Music, too, transforms grief into poetic expression, reverberating with echoes of shared experiences that transcend generations. The haunting notes of a guitar, every strum a reminder of the soldiers lost, every lyric embodying the struggle to reconcile the past with hope for the future. These expressions of creativity are not merely acts of catharsis, they represent the vital dialogue between a past heavy with consequence and a future that longs for understanding and reconciliation. Yet time, ever the great equalizer, inevitably introduces distance into the narrative. As memories fade and the present becomes dominant, it compels us to consider how history is often rewritten, reframed, and at times forgotten. The vivid horror that reverberated through continents now finds itself becoming a mere footnote in school curricula, a chapter in history books perhaps too simplistic in its narrative. The stories of those who felt the weight of disillusionment, who stripped away idealism, slowly diminish into whispers for a newer generation unscarred by the realities of war. Film, documentaries, and poetry serve as reminders, beckoning us back to face what too easily might slip through the fingers of collective memory. As society oscillates between remembrance and oblivion, one cannot help but ponder how the Vietnam War will be perceived by future generations, one that encapsulates not only the tragedy of conflict, but also the resilience of a people whose legacy emerges from the ashes. The rising voices of Vietnamese and American youth alike, bearing witness to the past with open hearts, strive to forge connections within a fragmented world, to learn from the haunting echoes that history leaves behind. In this intricate weave of shared memory and newfound understanding, the question of what constitutes a legacy becomes paramount. The stories, feelings, and histories intertwine, alive in a culture that knows intimately the cost of ambition, the toll of ideals unmoored, and through that knowledge, they come to claim their agency in shaping futures that honor the experiences of those before them. The delicate dance between power and vulnerability, ambition and empathy remains, quietly manifesting new lessons to be honored and cherished. As night descends upon this tapestry woven from the threads of human experience, we find ourselves standing at the crossroads of understanding. Here lies the legacy of Vietnam. It speaks not solely of conflict and sorrow, but reverberates with resilience, a soft yet unyielding reminder that through darkness, light can still find a way to break through. The paths of these shared memories stretch far beyond borders. They form a whispered resolution beneath the stars, urging us to remember, to listen, and to learn. In the silence that follows, we come full circle. Just as a garden flourishes from the remnants of the past, so too must we nurture a world where understanding reigns, and connections forged from appreciation of shared history bind us closer together. For in the long echo of time, the story of the Vietnam War transforms from one of mere loss into a call to honor resilience, a journey that unfolds not merely in remembrance, but in the continuous yearning for a world where compassion prevails over ambition, a gentle hope intertwined with human connection. As we step away from this narrative, let us carry forward with us the solemn yet inspiring lessons inscribed deeply into our shared histories. Let us breathe life into the silence that settles between moments, into the very essence of humanity that resonates, whispering softly, "We are all part of this journey."